Alright, hey guys, Pax, welcome back to another Pokemon Pocket video. As the title states, the trailer for the new booster pack, Team Rocket's Ambition, has finally been released. I'll go over the trailer, I'll play it in its entirety, and then go over each card one by one. If you guys are new to my channel, really would appreciate if you like and subscribe. It would really help me out tremendously, especially as a small-time content creator. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So yes, this potentially might be the last pack for Series B. Comparing to last year's release schedule, there's a high chance we'll get the deluxe pack for Series B. So yeah, this might be the end. We might get Series C in 2 months. Anyways, on with the trailer. Alright, so that was a trailer. As you can see, the pack will be dropping on August 26th, 6 p.m. Pacific Daytime. Mark your calendars. Overall, not too bad. Once again, very hype. Potentially finishing off Series B with a Team Rocket themed booster pack. Anyways, yeah, looking at all the cards that were revealed. First card we have is Team Rocket's Lapras. HP 90 basic, of course. Has 1 attack, Ruthless Whirlpool. Does 40 base damage. Requires 2 energy, 1 water, 1 colorless. If this Pokemon has more energy attached than your opponent's active Pokemon, this attack does 40 more damage. So there's gonna be a lot of scenarios where you want to overfeed this guy just so that you can do the extra damage. Depending on the stage of the game, really, if you can afford to do that. But nevertheless, an amazing Oricorio counter if you can get this guy built much faster than Oricorio. Next card we have is Team Rocket's Houndour. So imagine we get the second coming of Mega Houndoom. The first one, the promo card, hasn't even been like a month since release, and we might be getting a second one. So if you're a Houndoom fan, props to you. So yeah, this guy, HP 60 basic. Life Coat does 20 damage, requires 1 fire type energy. Not too bad for a basic. Next card we have is Marowak, about to get abducted by these 2 grunts right here. HP 110, stage 1. Has 1 attack, Punish. Requires 2 energy, 1 fighting, 1 colorless. If your opponent's active Pokemon has Team Rocket in its name, this attack does 70 more damage. So 120 in total with Karina and Arena of Antiquity. If your opponent's Pokemon is an EX and is a Team Rocket themed Pokemon, you can do a max of 170. 190 with type advantage. So can definitely hit like a truck. Essentially a counter to the Team Rocket meta. Just in case it becomes that prominent. You got Marowak right here just to deal with it. Team Rocket's Thieving Machine. Put a random item card except any Team Rocket's Thieving Machine from your opponent's discard pile into your hand. Towards the late game, I feel like you won't get as much value depending on what item cards your opponent uses. I mean, especially if you're looking for like something specific like Field Blower, Lucky Ice Pop, or maybe even Pokeball, depending on your luck. But even then, towards the late game, you can get a lot of value. Let's say your opponent goes first, uses Pokeball. Your first turn going second, you can use Thieving Machine to get said Pokeball, potentially using Pokeball 3 times in 1 turn. Equally so towards the middle to late game. Let's say your opponent used Lucky Ice Pop. They get heads 5 times in a row, healing over 100 damage. Use Team Rocket's Thieving Machine, getting that Lucky Ice Pop, using it, immediately getting tails, losing the game. So, but nevertheless, could still be very useful. Could definitely be your win condition in a sense, depending on your RNG. We got Team Rocket's Tinkaton. HP 140, stage 2. Pile Driving Hammer does 80 base damage, requires 3 energy, 2 metal, 1 colorless. During your opponent's next turn, attacks used by defending Pokemon cost 2 colorless more, and its retreat cost is 2 colorless more. So essentially the stage 2 version of cards such as Why Not, doing a bit of disruption while also doing a bit of damage. Main issue is that it is metal type. I feel like currently in the game, metal type is definitely the worst type, which is kind of crazy to say, but yeah, after the last pack, dragon type is much better. Fighting type with Mega Lucario, Arena, Karina, much better as well, got a lot of buffs, whereas Metal type has been always kind of mid for the most part. There are some exceptions, of course, but overall, I feel like in the current meta, like Metal type is very much non-existent, unfortunately, so we should see how prominent this will be. It requires 3 energy as well, so that's kind of an awkward number in my opinion. I mean, looking at Metagross, same thing, requires 3 energy. Unless they add Team Rocket themed buffs, like a lot more Team Rocket themed buffs than revealed in this trailer, I don't think Tinkaton will be that meta. Next card we have is Team Rocket's Master Plan. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Flip a coin if tails, your active Pokemon is now also confused. Okay, so it can definitely mess you up, especially with the secondary effect. However, depending on the stage of the game, depending on your strategy, it might not matter too much. So let's say you use this card, you get tails, you could just retreat out of your active Pokemon. So like, let's say like you're leading with a baby Pokemon, use this, get tails, sub out that baby Pokemon for something much better. Let's say like a Mega Lucario that's fully built, or Mega Altaria, attack your opponent's active Pokemon. Next turn, they have to do a coin flip or retreat. So yeah, ultimately, I don't think you'll see much play. I mean, it is very annoying, yeah, but your opponent has a lot of ways to counteract this. Teal Mask Ogerpon is still very meta. You got PC Lady. But once again, Dina is pushing the coin flip meta. They really want this game to be very much coin flip dependent. Again, it could definitely win the game, but at the same time, there's a lot of ways to counteract it. I mean, confusion is not too bad compared to like sleep, paralysis. So yeah, imagine if it was like paralysis or sleep. You know, your opponent's active Pokemon is now sleep. I'm going to lose it, man. Igglybuff Darkrai decks are going to be much more annoying. Next card, Team Rocket's Arbok. HP 100 stage 1. One attack Shadow Seeker does 70 base damage, requires 3 energy, 2 darkness, 1 colorless. This attack does 10 more damage for each energy in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. Very similar to Whimsicott EX. You could pair this card with Gyarados just to do a bit more damage. The main issue is that Gyarados is grass type, doesn't really mesh well with Arbok. Has a retreat cost of 2 as well. So if your opponent has a retreat cost of 1, you're doing 80 damage. 2, 90 damage, 3, 100. So ultimately, I don't think this is worth running. Again, unless they add some kind of like energy support for Team Rocket Pokemon, 3 energy is a lot. You know, this is going to take you a while to build up and is ultimately not worth the damage. Darkness type is very strong, debatably one of the best archetypes out there in the meta, but it strives on low energy requirements. So preferably like 1 to 2. So looking at Absol, Hydreigon technically only requires 1 each turn. Hoopa EX for its first attack only requires 1. Darkrai EX is an exception because it does passive damage, but yeah, I feel like the sweet spot for darkness type cards is definitely 1 to 2 energy. So doesn't look too promising for that card. Next card we have is Team Rocket's Hypno. HP 90 stage 1. Has 1 attack and trap, requires 2 psychic type energy. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. If you do, this attack does 50 damage to the new active Pokemon. Okay, so very similar to Sabrina, except for one key difference. So looking at Sabrina, switch out your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench. Your opponent chooses the new Pokemon. Looking at this card, it doesn't say your opponent chooses. So you could choose for your opponent. You could choose like a Mega, a baby Pokemon, anything you want on their bench, and just mess them up like that. Next turn, you could sub out this guy. Sure, it has a retreat cost of 2, but Psychic type has Peculiar Plaza, so you can just easily retreat out this guy. Sub into, let's say, like Mega Gardevoir, attack just like that. Your opponent tries to retreat, use Cyrus, pull them back in, win the game potentially. So it could be very annoying to deal with. I feel like this is one of the best cards they've added so far in this booster pack. Very promising and also very annoying. All right, heading into the hideout, Team Rocket's secret hideout, we got Team Rocket's Mewtwo, HP 100 basic. 1 attack Psychic Explosion, does 130. This Pokemon also does 70 damage to itself. Requires 3 energy, 2 Psychic, 1 colorless. Not too bad. Essentially a glass cannon, because after attacking, this guy will be down to 30 HP. I can very much see people pairing Mewtwo with Mega Gardevoir. So you would leave Mega Gardevoir, attack, feed Mewtwo next turn, sub into Mewtwo, attack your opponent just like that. With Diantha, you could heal up as well. Depending on the scenario, this guy might be more beneficial to run compared to Mega Diancie. For one thing, it is a non-EX. I feel that's the biggest thing about it, is that it's a non-EX, so once it gets knocked out, at the end of the world. Mega Diancie, once it gets knocked out, you lose the game. So yeah, not too bad. And look at this art. Personally, I'm a huge fan of this kind of like retro art style. I know a lot of people hate it when they take art from the TCG, primarily for full arts. But when it comes to just like the regular art, it's very nostalgic to see this type of art style in the game. Next card we have, is sliding right in, is Team Rocket's Persian. HP 100 stage 1. Dangerous Rogue. Does 10 base damage, requires 2 colorless energy. This attack does 40 damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So if your opponent has 1 bench Pokemon on their side of the field, you are doing 50 damage. 2 bench Pokemon, you're doing 90. 3, 130. So it could be very annoying to deal with, but at the same time, your opponent can mitigate the damage by not placing their bench basics. They can very much do that and place them later on. So that's the main issue. However, we have the man, the myth, Team Rocket's boss. Yes, he is coming back. The man, the myth, the legend, Giovanni is coming back for his second return, trying to copy Cyrus's aura, especially with the hand, like the same weird ass hand. It's like it looks like he's missing his pinky as well. Is that his pinky right there? I don't know why. I'm analyzing this way too much, but yeah, this guy's about to just grab you, and yes, that's how I'm gonna go with that. He's just gonna grab you. That's what he does. That's what Team Rocket does. They grab Pokemon and Pokemon traffic, which just sounds very bad, but that's essentially what they do. They Pokemon traffic. But yeah, look at your opponent's hand and put any number of basic Pokemon you find there onto your opponent's bench. So kind of a buff for Persian as well as Hypno. Getting a lot of value with that. Could be very disruptive, but at the same time, might not matter too much, especially if your opponent was going to do that regardless. So let's say you're going first. Opponent only places 1 Pokemon on their side of the field. They don't want to place more basic Pokemon on their side of the field, just in case you decide to Sabrina early game. Just like that, you can place 1 basic Pokemon or even 2, 3. It's ultimately up to you. You can choose. Their next turn, I don't think they can evolve, but I mean, I guess slight disruption. It's very situational. I guess towards the late game, you can get a bit of value. You could use Team Rocket's boss if your opponent's kind of like making sure not to place down a basic. You have 2 points. All your opponent has is a Pokemon interactive. You can't one-shot that Pokemon. And there's a high chance that they have a basic Pokemon in their hand. You can use Team Rocket's boss, pull them in, and then win the game potentially, especially if you have 2 points already. I don't know. Personally, we shall see how meta this is. I mean, again, very good buff for like Persian, Hypno, but ultimately it won't last too long in the meta. Definitely not the same aura as Cyrus. Cyrus is still, his aura is unmatched, man. This guy's trying too hard. 3 more cards left for this trailer. Team Rocket's Articuno, Team Rocket's Moltres, and Team Rocket's Zapdos. Coming back, these guys came out upon release. They went to a bit of an arc, and they joined Team Rocket. All 3 of them joined Team Rocket, and yes. So first card, Articuno EX, HP 130, basic. 2 attacks, Ice Wing. 40 base damage, requires water and colorless. Second attack, Hailstorm, does 130, requires 3 energy, 2 water type, 1 colorless. This attack does 20 damage to each of your bench Pokemon. So interesting, but could definitely mess you up. Again, man, Cyrus. I'm gonna say Cyrus could definitely come in clutch, especially towards the late game. Screw it, man. Are we running 18 trainer Articunos again? Is this the plan? Let's go for that. Let's do 18 trainer Articunos. I'm actually unironically going to do that. That'll be very interesting. As long as you don't run into Oricorio, you might stand a chance. Granted, I mean, the game has changed a lot since 18 trainer Articuno was meta. Shout out to you guys who remember that. Interesting, nevertheless. You can definitely pair it with cards such as Sharpedo, but again, taking that base, that recoil damage is not ideal. Next card that we have is Team Rocket's Zapdos. HP 120, basic, has 2 attacks, Electro Ball and Thunderclaw. Electro Ball, very similar to Articuno, 40 damage, 1 lightning, 1 colorless. Thunderclaw does 90 damage, requires 3 energy, 2 lightning, 1 colorless. This attack also does 50 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that has damage on it. You can very much pair this with Healisk, getting a ton of value. So one turn, you could do potentially 50 damage onto the bench using Healisk, onto all of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Next turn, you could do the same thing, doing 50 damage after attacking with Thunderclaw. Main issue is that this requires 3 energy, which is why I feel like it should have required 2 to be somewhat viable. Because yeah, the main issue for that deck is that it's very frail. Like if your opponent outspeeds you and knocks out Healisk early on in the game, and you didn't build up your bench Pokemon, you are screwed. So yeah, 3 energy is a lot to ask for. Not to mention being very frail. Last bird we'll be going over is Team Rocket's Moltres. HP 130 basic, of course. 2 attacks, he charged Nether Wing. Bro went to the Nether, buffed himself, and got himself a, I don't know, Nether plated wings. Yeah, that's lore accurate Moltres right there. So first of all, he charged, requires 1 fire type energy, flip 3 coins for each heads, produce a fire type energy from your energy zone and attach it to this Pokemon. So basically a reverse version of its initial effect, because keep in mind, Moltres EX, the one from Genetic Apex, each time you get a heads, you feed 1 energy to your bench Pokemon. Whereas this guy buffs himself. Self-sustaining, granted it is coin flip dependent. Once again, Dina pushing the coin flip meta. Nice. You know how much everyone loves the coin flip meta. Second attack, Nether Wing, requires 4 energy, 3 fire, 1 colorless. Does 130 damage, after attacking, discard a fire type energy from this Pokemon. It doesn't seem that promising. I'll be honest, main issue is the HP, which I mean, it's rough, but it is what it is. HP 130, like, this guy's gonna get destroyed, especially if you get very unlucky with Heat Charge. There have been a lot of times where I would get 3 tails using Moltres, the generic Apex one, so most likely the same thing will happen for this guy. Granted, you could run Victini, but if you watch my Mega Houndoom EX deck showcase, I got 6 tails in a row with the Victini buff. Victini tried to help, but Houndoom just didn't want to attack, so that could definitely still happen, which was unfortunate. And again, very frail. But at the same time, I mean, it is kind of self-sufficient, which is pretty nice. Yeah, I feel like Heat Charge should have been an ability so that it could be in the bench, you know? Like, they could have easily made it as an ability. They could make it so to use the ability, you have to sacrifice 1 fire type energy. You have to feed Moltres 1 fire type energy to do that. But you can still do it in your bench. Because, I mean, in the active, this guy's already very frail. Early game, you're most likely going to get it knocked out before it can attack. Keep in mind, if you only get 1 heads, you need to wait like probably 2 more turns until you can use Nether Wing, which is pretty unfortunate. But yeah, ultimately time will tell how meta these cards will be. We've been wrong before as a community, so hopefully we are wrong. Again, that's not all the cards. There's definitely going to be more Team Rocket themed trainer cards, stuff like that. So yes, not too bad. With that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you guys hyped for this, or will you save your pack hourglasses for the next booster pack or potentially Series C? Again, just to reiterate, the pack will be dropping August 26th, 6 p.m. PDT. This is actually my second time recording this. First time I forgot to unmute my mic. It was very much an error on my part. Leaving a like and subscribing would help me out both mentally and physically. I will most likely get out one more video talking about this booster pack before it releases. So once again, stay tuned. And yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys on my next video. Peace.